So this is Miss Norris, and here's question 1. An elderly woman who can no longer care for herself. She can no longer walk or do any type of physical activity. She needs complete assistance to bathe, go to the bathroom, eat, etc. She must always be connected to a respirator to stay alive. She is tired of always having to take daily medication that many times cause side effects such as headaches, stomach aches, and drowsiness. Her only family is her daughter, who must put aside her job to care for her. Should this woman have the right to exercise euthanasia? Why or why not?
If it's what she wants, then I would say yes, she does. And the hard part now is that she's already in that state, is if her daughter is impacted by that. But I do believe she does.
All right. You don't think that it's bad to just end someone's life like that?
I don't. I think if it's what she wants, it would probably be wise if she had a healthcare directive, something that she had set up in advance, that let everybody know that when she got to a point, whatever that point was, that she felt would no longer be a quality of life for her, that they would take steps as needed to end her life. So it would be her ending her life. But if it was set up in advance too, then there wouldn't be confusion with the daughter.
All right, I can agree with that. All right, well, here's situation 2. An adult male who is in a coma due to a recent accident. Doctors have informed his family that he has little to no chance of regaining consciousness. Should his family have the right to exercise euthanasia? Why or why not? After how long? How do you come up with a justifiable time period?
Okay, so for me, this one's even more based on that medical directive. If that person had something in place when they were completely healthy, just in the best of worlds as an in case, then their family would be faced with making the decision themselves, and they would know exactly what that person's wishes were. So if they had a medical directive that said, if I'm ever in this state for this long and this is the case, then terminate, that would be much easier on the family. As for the family, I still think they do have the right, because they're the ones that are there. It would just be much easier if the medical directive was in place.
But if it was on the family, what decision do you think they should make?
I don't know. That's how I went through that, so I understand. But I had a conversation with my brother, so I know what his wishes were. So we had an informal medical directive, and the rest of my family, we sort of share the same belief and philosophy. I guess if it depends on your religious beliefs and your other things that you actually believe. If that person was deeply religious and they believed that suicide meant you wouldn't be in your safe place or whatever after, I don't know that the family has the right to take that from them. On the other hand, it's medically, it depends, and I guess after some point you're arguing with the insurance company about what can and can't be done. And then it might go to court and you'd have to show cause, and again, it depends on your faith and possibly what medical discoveries or things are in place.
All right. Here's a third situation. A severely handicapped child who can't care for himself. He needs 24-hour assistance. Doctors have assured the parents that he will never be able to hold a job, establish a family, etc. He needs full assistance to eat, bathe, go to the bathroom, etc. Should the parents have the right to exercise euthanasia?
So that situation's a little vague, and it's more difficult too because it's a child. But you don't define this, in my opinion, you don't define the mental aptitude of the child. So if the shell covering that child is just completely defective, and that's why they need all that help, but their mind is okay, I would probably say no, and that until that child is of an age where they can determine and decide for themselves. And I don't think I would let a child decide that they wanted to end. It's a quality of life issue. I myself would not want to live like that, but I've also already had a life where I got to live not like that. So yeah. I don't know. If on the other hand we're talking about something in a vegetative state where they can't communicate, they can't interface with their family, they can't feel love, be loved, give love, and communicate, then I probably would gear towards euthanasia. But again, it depends on the mental aptitude.
If it is in a vegetable state, as you say, do would you think that maybe it's wrong for the parents to make the decision like that, just to end the child's life and not to try to keep it alive and help it live as long as it can?
I think then it would be the same as even if a child was in an accident. So whether they were born that way or suddenly came from an accident resulted that way, then you'd have to decide that. And again, because just being in a shell that doesn't work it doesn't tell us about the mental state and ability.
All right. Here's the fourth situation. A woman suffering from a terminal form of cancer. She has been told she has no more than 6 months to live and that the suffering and pain during that time will be extreme. Until then, she must take medications that cause her extreme discomfort. Should she have the right to exercise euthanasia?
Yes, absolutely. The medication, I would wonder if the medication with all of its terrible side effects, if not taking it, quickens the end of life. And I don't know that is even defined as euthanasia. I don't know that taking something to end your life is different than not taking something that prolongs it. And so I think that's the question that you might look at there.
Would you think that stop to not take the medication and just live naturally is the same as just taking euthanasia itself?
I don't. I think the end result might be the same. It's just you're taking a different pathway.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we want to take the one that's the least painful and that preserves the quality of life the best.
All right. And you wouldn't think that it'd be wrong for the woman just to end her life and not to live out the final 6 months?
It depends. I mean, does she have children? Does she have things to take in order? Is she's, I think you have to look at all of those things and everybody else that's affected by your choices and decision. But I think that's just you still have the right to choose to die and to end your life, especially in that situation. I think the logistics of it are at stake, and that's also like a medical directive too. I know 6 months, whatever, is a guess. It's
Mm-hmm.
a best guess, an informed guess, whatever, but it's still a guess. And so I think with a medical directive where somebody specifically outlined, their brain activity, the function that their body was going through, and all those things more clearly, then that would determine that it's time to euthanize, as opposed to we're going to do it in 3 months, type of a thing. So even if the person's in constant pain and is on medication that pretty much doesn't let them even live life, that might be when they say, well, then that's when I want the bigger dose.
All right. So for almost all situations, you believe that everyone should have their own free will and free choice?
I do believe it's a matter of choice is the bottom line, and that even if I didn't agree with it, they still have the right to choose
Mm-hmm.
for themselves how they want to, which is why the one about the kid was kind of tough.
Yeah.